Hey, John. I mean, let's just get to when you signed here. I know you were excited for the possibilities and what this team could do. So I guess now that it's over, I mean, how disappointed are you that you guys weren't able to kind of get where you wanted to?
I think the disappointment was a couple of weeks ago. Like I think after that Pittsburgh game, like when the chances of making it were slowly disappearing. I think now it's kind of like you're looking at the brighter side of things. What we did well. What we can build on. So I think the disappointment is like kind of gone for me, and I think it's kind of like what can we do to be better and moving forward towards next year and talking with AB with Coach Kevin and stuff like that. So I think it's just get it all out and see what we can do to get better.
Thanks, Dan. Cam Justice is next.
Hey, John, throughout the season, the defense had to come into its own, and there were times where you guys weren't having, cohesive games offensively and defensively. During those times, what did the communication look like on both sides of the ball to try to get you guys, up to speed together and make sure that frustrations were tempered with, one side performing maybe at a high level and the other one struggling at times?
Yep. All good teams, play complementary football. And like, I'm glad you mentioned that because that's, one thing I felt like we didn't do well this year. Whether the offense was firing, defense wasn't, defense was firing, offense wasn't. And even just like mid game, if we get a turnover, we got to get points off the turnover. That has to be mandatory. So I think complementary football is huge. But I think just the leaders on this team kind of separated the offense and defense, not in a bad way, but I mean like defense worried about the defense, offense worried about the offense, and maybe moving forward we got to try to kind of mesh a little bit more together to understand that complementary football really has to come into play if we want to be a good team.
Thanks, Cam. Tony Grossi, you're up.
Thanks, John. Your tweet during the Green Bay game kind of echoed the sentiments of most Browns fans and observers of that game. Did the coach react to you at all after that?
Yeah, it was jokingly. He said something to me about it. He just didn't really like that. It was kind of public. We kind of want to keep, comments like that at house, but it wasn't anything bad. Everybody has, opinions and feelings. And I was watching the game as a fan, and it was just kind of like, it was early in the game. Chubb he had 6 touches for 80 yards. That's all I saw. So I was just like, get him the ball. I think he's one of the best running backs in the league, if not the best. So it wasn't anything, personal or bad, but, we chopped it up.
Thanks, Tony. Matt Fontana's next.
Yeah, John, before the season, there was so much made about that 3 safety look, and it just seemed like it never really kind of materialized. Ronnie's obviously a free agent, not necessarily to talk about that, but was there a disappointment that 3 safety look really never took off this year?
I don't think it was frustration or disappointment. When we were out there, I think we early in the season, we had, a few plays where, just didn't really work out. But I think for the most part, we gave offenses, trouble, with different looks. It may not have been, all the big plays, sacks, and, picks that you want to see. But I think we gave offenses trouble, locating Ronnie, locating Grant, seeing where I am. So I think it was just like a great change up, having speed out there. That Baltimore game, we all 3 of us had interceptions. So that was huge. But I think I wouldn't say it was a super duper success, but I don't think it was a failure. I think it's definitely somewhere to a good start to build on.
Thanks, Matt. Nate Ulrich.
John, what makes you think that, the defense that kind of seemed to find itself and play really well can hit the ground running and put a full season together? And what's going to be the key to that as a leader to get everybody on the same page? So, you had so many new faces this year. You're not necessarily going through that gelling, although you will have some changes, obviously.
Yep, I think it was great, getting, JOK out there, Jacob towards the end of the season. Guys are going to be here next year to get those, reps underneath their belt, that experience, and hopefully we can get some guys back. I'm coming back, like you said. I think it's, it's my job to, I'm 1 year in this defense, this organization, so I definitely have a way more. I have more ground to stand on, and I think it's my job to get this defense firing. Our goals were top 5. We ended up being, I think, number 5 in yards. So I think if we shoot for number 1, we'll be close to that. And it's just like you say, it's a good place to start. Hopefully everything stays intact and we can just keep our guys healthy. And I think we got something good going.
Thanks, Nate. Marla Ridenour.
Yeah, John, just wanted to ask you about kind of the unity and chemistry of the team. Do you I mean, JOK made it sound like you guys maybe could improve there. What can be done in that regard?
It's kind of tough, with COVID and stuff like that. But I think, off the field, hang out with guys, get to know one another, just build a relationship that may have nothing to do with football. Talk to guys. Just if you see someone it's guys on the team, that they probably never even spoke to each other. So I think it's just building relationships with guys and trusting one another. And that goes with the coaches as well. We have, events with the coaches, but I think, it's kind of tough with COVID, but that chemistry is huge. Offense and defense and special teams, we need, to feed off one another. And it's big. And that's something, like I said, I think that's another job that I have to take on and figure it out, but we'll get there.
Thanks, Marlon. Mary Kay Cabot, you're up.
Yeah, John, maybe this goes along the same lines, but I was wondering, when you sit down in those exit meetings, you've been to a Super Bowl, you know what makes a good football team. Do you share with Kevin and AB and those guys what you see needs to happen to make this be a much better football team? And if so, what are some of the things that you told them that you guys might need to do?
Absolutely. The biggest thing for me was just being proactive about, our health, our bodies, like soft tissue stuff. I think we can implement, like, I don't know, the logistics of how to do these things. There's some, like, Chavis and the guys have to get it. But I think, like, we can get a yoga instructor in here to work on our flexibility. I think our relationship with the training staff could be a whole lot better, just like mobility, just staying, like, proactive about things, getting guys in there that probably usually wouldn't until they're hurt. Just try to implement a plan for each individual player on the team. I think that goes a long way. I think sports science is huge, just like doing vision training, hand-eye coordination, balance. I think all that stuff plays a big part in staying healthy and just being an overall better team. So that's what I shared. And, there's a couple other things, but I think that's something that we could just do better, just starting with today, this exit meeting.
Thanks, Mary Kay. Next up, Scott Patrick.
Hey, John. How would you assess your first year with this team, and did you have the impact that you expected to have?
It was I think it was up and down. I had a new role, but I think, that could be a little fluid coming to next season. I would say I did all right. Some plays I wish I had back. Some games I wish I had back. And, I think I had a different mentality coming to this year. I think it was kind of like play it safe instead of just let it loose. So I think next year I'll probably just completely turn everything loose and just let it all hang out and have fun with it. But, I would say I did pretty good. I had some takeaways, had some tackles, for being in the post. I think for the most part, I was kind of like out there the most, I probably played a lot percentage of the plays. So just being reliable, I think the consistency could be a little better, but I think it was a good start for the first year. And I think next year it'll really take off.
Thanks, Scott. Jake Trotter, you're up.
Yeah, John, speaking as a defensive leader on this team, what's the confidence level in the offense, especially Baker, and really the passing game overall going into this offseason?
Yeah, we have confidence. There were times during the year that, we had a electric offense. We put up 30, 40 points a few times. And I just think, that consistency has to be there. And I think we have to set the tone. We got to get takeaways. We can score ourselves on defense. But like I said, we've been electric at times, but it's just like keep doing it week in and week out, keeping guys healthy. That's going back to, the regimen that I offered, a few things. But I think if guys are healthy and we really trust in what the coaches are trying to get us to buy into, I think we'll be fine. And it's going to take each individual to like really lock in and really trust in it. And, everything works in this league. You just got to really trust in it and execute at a high level. So there's nothing but confidence. I think that complementary football piece is the biggest thing. And, moving forward, we're going to work on that.
We'll take one more. Nate Ulrich.
Hey, John, just to kind of follow up on something you said earlier about offense and defense being like separated and needing to mesh more. I'm just wondering for, one major event that happened was Odell leaving. Was there any division between offense and defense? And created by that issue, or do you not think that that was part of what you're talking about?
No, I don't think that's part of what I'm talking about. I think that's a part of the business. Stuff like that happens every year. We just saw a case, in Tampa Bay where some crazy stuff happens. Stuff like that happens all the time. And I think it's really just, we don't sit in the offensive meetings. We don't really know what's going on. So it's kind of hard to speak on certain things. I just think it's, at the end of the day, we're all professionals, and, on game day, we need to execute at a high level. And whenever that doesn't happen, there's always some static created. So I think, I don't think that caused a problem, but it's just like, when I say separate, I think it's, we know what's going on defense. They know what's going on offense. And it's kind of like a fine line that you can't really cross or intrude on. So I think that's what I mean by separated.